We told you so. Hello and welcome back to Resist 47. For all those of you out there who are fans of Trump, voted for Trump, we told you so. We told you he was going to implement Project 2025 if he was reelected president, that he was going to slash government programs on which millions of people depend, that he was going to do that so that he could give a bigger tax cut to the rich. We told you that was going to be true, and it's coming true. He has essentially planning to appoint or trying to appoint the author of the Project 2025 to be the director of Office of Management and Budget. And he has began today with the plan, but with the freeze on grants and federal spending to all kinds of government services and programs so that he can, they can go back over those and see if they're worthwhile. But for now, spending on those is frozen. Now, this is strictly speaking illegal. It's unconstitutional. Does that mean Trump will ever suffer any punishment for it? I have no way of knowing. That's really up to the United States Senate. The Senate and the House of Representatives need right now to do their constitutional job, which is to act as a check on the power of the presidency. That is their actual constitutional job. That when he goes too far, when he takes over their power, he begins to gather more power to himself than the Constitution ever intended. It's their job to act as a check on him, to essentially say, you've gone too far. What you're doing is illegal. What you're doing is what we're supposed to do, because that's the truth. If the Congress, because it's controlled by the president's party, is unwilling to do that, then it's up to the courts, and we just have to hope that the courts hold, because I'm not speaking hyperbolically here. If Trump can decide what money is spent and is not spent all by himself and what it's spent on, then we might as well not have a United States Congress. The budget making process then becomes a farce. The president can do whatever he wants with all the money that's collected, spend it or not spend it however he chooses, and he will effectively have become a dictator, because he alone will have that power. He can decide what is and is not going to be spent. So that's all just a fact. That's just all fact. You don't have to like it, but that's all fact. Okay? And, I'm going to quote Ben Shapiro, those facts don't care about your feelings. Doesn't matter what your feelings about Trump or Biden or Hillary Clinton or anybody else are. Those things are facts. Now, one of the things I'm going to want to do in this video is to real quickly tell you not only are those things that Trump has done illegally, but the idea behind those policies is bad economic policy. You may not know this. I taught economics in high school for about 15 years. And while that doesn't make me an expert on everything having to do with economics, it does mean that I have a pretty good understanding of the basics of big economic concepts. And the big economic concept I want to talk to you about right now has to do with macroeconomics. That is, the economies of nations, of economic systems. It can even be the economies of corporations. But in this case, we're going to talk about the economy of the nation. That's a macroeconomic thing. Since Reagan, we have decided that entrepreneurs and business people are the creators of jobs, and therefore we have to do whatever we can to encourage them to create jobs. That's what we decided. That is essentially one of the things that came out of the Reagan supply-side economic policy. And I'll talk about this more in another video about where this idea comes from. But that idea is proven to be false. The idea is if you give wealthy people and corporations tax breaks and you get rid of regulations, they will spend their money in a way which creates jobs. Those jobs will create wealth for everybody, and everybody will do better. That's called trickle-down economics, that everybody behaving out of self-interest, out of desire to make more money, will do things which is better for everybody. That doesn't work. If it worked, we wouldn't have been accumulating, $37 trillion of debt just since 1980. If that worked, we wouldn't have gone through as many recessions as we've gone through in the last few decades. There was a recession in '89. There was a recession in the end of '99, 2000. There was definitely a huge recession at the end of 2008, the beginning of 2009, and we went through a recession during COVID and the inflation which followed it. So that economic system doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work gets to the heart of what I want to say about Project 2025's efforts to cut social spending and social programs. They are wrong-headed. They are based on the idea that the benefit should go to the rich first and let those benefits trickle down to everybody else. The opposite of that is actually true. So here's one of the things I want to challenge you to do. You need to think about what we call as welfare spending in a completely different light. You've been told that that's money that people who don't work or are poor or lazy or whatever have other problems are leeching off the system. That is not true at all. The reason why we have welfare spending is to keep the United States economy as a whole healthy. And here's the basic truth of the matter is there are a whole lot more poor people than there are rich people. There are a whole lot more poor people in this country than there are rich people. And our economy depends on those poor people spending money. If those poor people don't buy milk, if they don't go to the store and buy potato chips or Coca-Cola, if they can't afford to buy clothes or shoes, then the economy will collapse. Welfare is a way to keep those people spending money. Government programs that give people access to food is a way to keep that spending up. Because without that spending, farmers and businesses and others are hurt. In the long run, we all are. Think about the Great Depression. We oftentimes hear that the Great Depression was caused by the stock market collapse. That's not really true. The Great Depression, the stock market collapse cost a whole bunch of rich people a lot of money, which meant they couldn't invest in business, which meant businesses couldn't invest in expansion and continuing to operate, which meant that people lost jobs. When we wanted to when we wanted to stimulate the United States economy, what we did was we gave people jobs, we gave people money, whether it was in the defense industry as we geared up for World War II or not. That stopped the economic decline. That welfare spending is the base of the United States economy. Without it, the United States economy will collapse because millions and millions of people will not have money to spend. If they don't have money to spend, the economy cannot grow. It cannot sustain itself. And we don't have time for maybe rich people to spend that money in a way which maybe creates jobs, which maybe then employs all these people, and mainly then the benefits trickle down. We do not have time. By freezing spending on government social programs, Trump is endangering the United States economy. Not just poor people, even though, from my point of view, we should be helping the poor and the needy because that's the right thing to do. But if you're just a greedy bastard, let me also tell you, helping those people helps you because it keeps the economy stable. It allows the economy to have a base of growth. And without it, the United States economy is going to collapse. This is all a byproduct of the Heritage Foundation, which is really terrible at economics and really committed to this idea that the rich people are the only people who matter. It's all a product of their Project 2025, which Trump lied to you and told you he was not going to institute, but which we see that he's instituting every day right now. Anyway, there you go. Look forward to your comments in the comment section down below. Resist President 47 as much as you possibly and safely can at this point, and let me know what you think.